Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest narration of the web series The Human from a Dungeon. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description, and as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 72, Nick Smith, Adventurer Level 7, Human American. We're getting close now, Larry said. These Fae and I are familiar with one another, so please allow me the honor of introductions. Don't worry, Rebus laughed. I know better than to give my name to the Fae. But actually, these Fae already have names, so there's no need to be concerned. Boss, just a joke. Ah, right. The forest around us creaked and moaned as we continued walking. The weather had changed from sunny to overcast and windy, not long after we'd entered the woods. Thankfully, it wasn't raining, but the smell was there. We should pick up the pace, I said. It's going to rain soon. I think it will ever ready if it was going to, Nash said. You can't smell it? I asked with a puzzled expression. Smell what? The rain? Yeah. Of course you can smell the fecking rain, he sighed. 'Cause that makes sense, right? Why not? You really can't smell that? No, damn it. The fact do you even mean? I smell wind and trees and dirt. I don't smell nothing special either, Rebus added. Me either, Maka shrugged. The rest of the group shrugged and shook their heads, except for York, who was stroking his chin. He was so lost in thought that he stumbled over a root, but caught himself with his staff. He turned to look at the root in question with a very confused expression. Look, I don't know how to explain a smell, I said, exasperated. All I know is that it smells like it's going to rain soon. He is right, it is, a voice said from behind us. We froze and turned around, but didn't see anything amiss. Gally reached for his bow, but Rebus stopped him with a gesture. We stood silent and listened for a moment, then Heino stepped forward. Who's there? He asked. You're looking right at me, the disembodied voice replied. We exchanged confused glances. Okay, but that doesn't answer my question, Heino crossed his arms. While you're at it, why can't I see you? Listen, little thing. I was just trying to be helpful. It's taking a lot of effort to hold on to my leaves with all this damned wind. One of the trees rotated slightly. They ain't really got the energy for introductions, and we don't need to know each other anyway. So why don't you bugger off now? Yeah, fair enough, Heino said. Let's get going. Heino turned and began to walk before the shock wore off for the rest of us. Larry levitated after him, and the rest of us had to jog to catch up. So, the feck? Rebus asked once we caught up. Don't know, Heino shrugged. Didn't want to find out the hard way, though. Since when are there trees that can talk? Nash asked. All trees can talk, but not usually via vocalizations, Larry explained. That was a grasp. They dwell within old-growth forests and interact with the fair folk pretty often. That one was more social than most. Didn't seem very social to me, Gally said. Precisely. Most of them are quite wary of mortals. A deep-seated prejudice that has sat within them since times long forgotten to everyone else. Larry said, then shrugged. At least, that's what the Fae have told me. I didn't even realize that the grasp can present as trees, York said casually. I was under the impression that they typically take the form of massive agaric growths. What? Rebus asked before I could. Agaric, Gallic answered. That's a type of mushroom. So there's a big talking mushroom somewhere out there. Could be in here too, Mako chuckled menacingly. You never know. Yeah, don't like that. Some things just shouldn't be able to talk. Mako chuckled louder and stopped as we came to a sudden clearing. The sound of wind abruptly ceased, and a sense of mystery hung in the air. Larry floated in front of us and beckoned for us to follow him. I have come to call in a favor, if it is convenient, Larry called out. And those with you? We looked around for the owner of the voice but saw no one. Interested parties, and insofar as I can tell, friends of the fair folk, the Lich replied, some of which are proven as such. Yes, Nick, Nash, Yook, allies of the deep wild, permissions were granted. Not here, though. Far from here, in more ways than one. Name your payment for the debt we owe. I humbly request the aid of your expertise with language and puzzles. This may be a challenging task, and so I am willing to discuss compensation if need be. A challenge, you say? With an audible pop, a figure enveloped in bright light appeared in front of Larry. My first instinct was to shield my eyes from the brightness, but I quickly realized that the light wasn't hurting my eyes at all. Confused, I lowered my hand and looked at everyone else. Their confusion met my own, and we all looked at the Fae as if it weren't shining like a star. It was nude, androgynous, and levitating at the same height as Larry. It held its hands cupped just below the sternum and its eyes closed. Somehow, though, I could tell that it was still staring at me. "Ah!" Reaver shuddered. "I don't mean any kind of offence or rudeness, but that's a creepy sort of vibe you're giving off." "As is intended, then," the Fae winked without moving its eyelids. Larry held up his hands as a warning for silence, and we obliged. "May I introduce you?" the Lich asked the Fae. "No need," Vian asked. "They know me now, and I them." And it was true. I knew of the Archfey of the Court of Stillness, its name Vian, granted by a mysterious being that leaves a hole in my mind. It loves the way that ice slowly forms when autumn first arrives. It hates the smell of flowers and has a flair for the dramatic, even compared with the other wilder. It once kicked Mamoldebrand in the non-physical equivalent of a dick for becoming a king and leaving the court. It felt as if I'd known it all my life, but had amnesia about how we'd met. I knew of Vian, but not of the Court of Stillness or why it was angry with Mamoldebrand for leaving. The word wilder popped into my head, and from context I was able to guess its meaning, though. I'd never heard of it before. When these discrepancies came to mind, my stomach tied itself in knots. "I want you to know that I did not enjoy that," Ten said angrily. "Enjoy what?" I asked. "Whatever that thing just did. All my neuromapping just flew right out the window and into a puddle." Don't think any of them would make interesting playthings for us, except Nick, though playing with Nick would lead to some rather serious problems, Björn sighed. Nash might be fun for some of the fairies, but his hot temper would quickly escalate to the point of ruining things. And Bonefay would love Mako, but he would break too quickly. Revis would entertain the sirens or sprites for a time, but the issue of keeping it in his pants would limit that enjoyment to half a day at most. Hino and Gali are too cautious to play. Ithrima and Yook are too curious for play. Congratulations, you're all safe. For now. I see. Well, I suppose that saves us some time, Larry said, though the veiled threats are unnecessary, Breen. I came for aid that you owe me, and these mortals are under my protection. Let's not be rude. Vian knows no other way to communicate, another voice called from behind us. We turned and watched the skeleton enter the clearing. It walked right through the little group and up to Larry. Something about it felt off, as if the bones didn't all belonged to the same being. It took me a second to realize that it was a bone fae, like King Horth back in the deep wild forest, but not wearing many facsimiles of flesh and fabric. The bone fae stopped in front of Larry, the two skulls regarding each other with their empty sockets and fleshless faces. It is a pleasure to see you again, Nerton, Larry said. Same, Larry, the bone fae replied, then raised a bony fist. Fight me. Everyone, including Vian, froze for a moment. Nerton pumped his fist in the air, causing a rattling noise. Larry regarded the bone fae carefully, then shook his head sadly. We don't have time, I'm afraid, the Lich said. I am tasked. Who tasks you? Nerton asked. I'll destroy them, then we can fight. I task me, then we can... No. But perhaps at a later time, Larry held up his hand gently. There is knowledge to be obtained. Oh, about your lost flesh, perhaps, but potentially intriguing knowledge regardless. Norton thought for a moment. Fine, I'll hold off the challenge for now. May we double our usual bet then? Of course, Larry nodded. I'll want your rarest matching tibia and fibula. Fine by me. I'll be wanting your mandible and sternum. Larry chuckled and reached into his satchel, while the rest of us shared concerned glances. He pulled out the tablets and then offered them to Vian. The archway looked confused for a moment, glanced at his hands, then sighed. The light surrounding Vian disappeared as it opened its eyes, grabbed the tablets and began its examination. Its demeanor made a subtle shift from perturbed to alarmed, then carefully neutral. Before I could ask why, it cleared its throat and looked back at Larry. What language do you need these deciphered into? Vian asked. They are written in code, the Lich replied. I am aware, the Archfey replied testily. What language do you need? Larry turned to me inquisitively. Can you decipher them into English? I asked. Both the Archfey and the Bonefey visibly winced at my question. Oh, sorry, I apologized instinctively. Yes, I can decipher them into, their original language. Vian interrupted me. Wait here. I'll return soon. You'll be safe from the rain in this clearing. Vian disappeared with a pop, and Norton regarded us nervously. His gaze fell on me more than the others. I'm going to take my leave as well, the Boneface said. We'll duel some other time, old friend. Very well, Larry nodded. Norton turned and walked away from us at a brisk pace. Several questions seemed to hang in the air, but nobody said anything. I contemplated the behavior of both Fae. Why did they flinch when I said English? How did Vian know the tablet was encoded? How did it even know what English is? Well, would you look at that? Reavers pointed above us, interrupting my thoughts. It really is raining. Gosh damn it, Nash muttered. End of chapter. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, Jon Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.